Good morning, Brian.
Good morning, Liliana. How are you?
Good. How are you today?
It's a beautiful day in New England in the U.S.
Nice. Brian, let's get going. You are an entomologist. What is entomology?
Entomologists study insects.
Cool.
Got a fascination with creepy crawling things.
Okay, I get it. It's cool to study insects, but why is it important?
For me, I grew up on a farm, so I was working with insects all the time, and I found human biology to be very boring and insects to be very fascinating from an evolutionary standpoint.
What do you mean exactly?
Think of all the things that insects can do that humans can't. I think they live underwater with gills. They undergo these amazing metamorphic changes. They internal parasites. There is an exotic beauty in their symmetry and form and coloration. They have some amazing social behaviors, and they're really just fun to watch and enjoy and learn from.
Cool. Well, that is quite a bit of an argument. Now tell me, what insect fascinates you the most?
Well, like most people, I'm fascinated with butterflies and dragonflies, but I've done a lot of work on parasitic wasps, so they fascinate me, especially wasps that are parasites on the eggs of other insects.
And why exactly do they fascinate you?
Well, they serve a very important ecological function, and just a vast diversity of parasitic wasps, all shapes, sizes, from really smaller than a pinhead to very long, elaborate structures. They're just really fascinating.
Cool. So after your entomology degrees, you got a PhD in conservation biology. What is conservation biology exactly?
Actually, the PhD was in environmental studies with an emphasis on conservation biology. My interest in conservation biology is it's a very interdisciplinary science. Not only are we doing research on biological diversity, but we're factoring in social and cultural and economic and political and historical factors to really look at how we can appropriately manage or protect the Earth's biodiversity. It's a fascinating new field.
Interesting. And what was the most important lesson you learned about research during your PhD?
The most important lesson about research, I think creative thinking and creativity is just as important as critical thinking.
Nice. And what was the most important lesson you learned about life during your PhD?
Don't force it. Just let it flow. Let it go. Sometimes you need to take a break and take it, and whether that's in life or in the middle of writing a manuscript or in the middle of an important research project. Just don't force it. It'll come.
So that would be the advice that you would give those considering giving up their PhD?
Well, we were all at the point we wanted to give up our PhD. My recommendation, your brain needs a rest too. So relax, take some time off, do some fun things, exercise, watch your diet. When the thoughts hit you after they've kind of brood in your mind for a while, they'll hit you, then go for it, full force. But the work will get done. Don't worry about it being perfect. Don't sweat the small stuff. You need time to digest that data, and it might take a little longer than you wanted, but it'll be a much better product. So relax and enjoy the process.
Nice. Brian, what is your favorite place on Earth?
My favorite place on Earth, probably the green forested hills of the Appalachian Mountains in the eastern U.S. I spent most of my life there, and whenever I've left, I've really been homesick.
Nice. And what are the 3 natural places in the world that you would still like to visit?
Let's see, 3 natural places I'd like to visit before they're gone. The Arctic National Wildlife Refuge in Alaska, before the oil companies get there. I've always been fascinated by Iceland and Patagonia, so I guess you could say I'm a cold weather person.
Okay, what's your favorite meal to cook?
Oh, I love to cook, but probably my favorite thing, I call it my kitchen sink dinner. It's whatever I can find goes into a pot. It's very experimental. It's very scientific, and there's never the same result.
Nice. Okay, Brian, you worked as a university professor. How did you like that experience?
You know, I love teaching. I love to impart and inspire the beauty of science in students. And I mostly work with students who are not science majors. So the interaction, challenging them on scientific myths, engaging them in scientific processes, taking them out in the field to scamper and frolic as any good field biologist loves to do. You know, I love the wow factor of science, especially for students who are intimidated by the field.
And what topic did you love to teach about?
Oh, I love to teach and learn most about biodiversity, biological diversity.
And what is biodiversity?
Biodiversity is the vast forms of diversity of life on the planet. It's not just the species that are out there, but it's the genes that make up those millions of species. It's the ecosystems, the habitats, the biosphere. It's all nested together into this amazing blue planet we call home.
And why do we need to think more and care more about biodiversity?
Well, I think biodiversity is critical to the survival of humans on Earth. It lets us know we're not the center of the universe, and it's easy to rattle off kind of the importance of biological diversity for the survival of humans. Think food, shelter, medicine, clothing. But really what's underrated and underappreciated is their ecological functions. Think about the importance of decomposers or carbon fixation. Photosynthesis in plants is the most important chemical reaction on the planet. For an engineer's standpoint, they look at nature for mimics, biomimicry, like Velcro. And there's also the intrinsic value of just being here on the planet and being one cog on this vast evolutionary experiment. And we have to respect all those different life forms.
And right now you work as an executive director of the Steep Rock Land Trust in Connecticut. What is that place exactly? Tell us.
Land Trust is usually a nonprofit, community-based organization that protects and conserves ecologically and historically significant land. Simply put, my organization, we are stewards for the species and the habitats that call our area home.
And give us an example of what you do to take care of the habitats in this area.
A couple of projects we've been wrapping up. We track the movements and egg laying of turtles to prevent road kills and to inform Department of Transportation when the turtles are out and nesting. We've been releasing predatory beetles that reduce invasive hemlock woolly adelgid, which has been destroying hemlock trees. And we've permanently protected more than 5,200 acres of land in perpetuity. That means, 1,000 years from now, this land will still be protected and not developed. That's probably the most important and significant value of a land trust.
And Brian, how worried are you about the natural life on our planet?
I am a pessimistic optimist.
Okay, I guess that's a good way to put it. And I heard you have a four-legged assistant at work and at home. What is his name?
Oh, it's Cody. Cody hasn't been feeling too well, but I think you might be able to catch him. Hey, Cody.
Oh, we can see him. I guess he's taking his Sunday nap.
Yeah, he's my field assistant. We scamper and we frolic and we have fun.
Wonderful. Brian, we're coming to an end. Tell me, would you like to visit Bosnia?
Oh, absolutely, in a heartbeat.
And what would you like to do while you're in Bosnia?
Well, if we're in frolic in the forest, of course. Maybe do a little bicycling on the back roads and sit down and have wonderful meals and drinks with you and your friends.
We would be happy to welcome you in Bosnia, so anytime, please come. And in the meantime, good luck with all your work, and thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you, Liliana. It's been a pleasure. I look forward to visiting in Bosnia.
All right, bye.
Bye.